A scream wakes you up. You hear it again. It is coming from your son's room. He's screaming over and over. You can hear the terror in his voice. You run to his room, stumbling along the way. When you try to open the door, you feel as if someone is holding the door closed. You're pounding on the door trying to open it. Suddenly, it opened on its own. You look around. Every single piece of furniture is upside down. Your child is on the bed. He raises a trembling hand and points his finger to a peaceful doll. With tears in his eyes, he says, "He did it." Our first urban legend is about one of the oldest haunted dolls. It started in 1904, when Robert Eugene Otto was 4 years old and was gifted a doll. The doll was about 3 feet tall, made out of fabric with beady black eyes. Robert loved the doll. He dressed it with a sailor suit that he once owned. He gave the doll his own name, Robert, and he began to be known by his middle name, Eugene. He carried the doll everywhere. He would play and talk to it as if it was a real person. One day, however, his parents mysteriously heard a voice answering back. Then things got even weirder. One night, Eugene's parents woke up startled to the screams of their son. They rushed to his room, only to be met by a horrific sight. Eugene, scared and screaming, and every piece of furniture in the room was upside down. Eugene claimed, with a trembling voice, that it was Robert the doll who had done it all. As time passed, darker things started happening. Even children laughter could be heard around the house. Objects inexplicably moved from their usual places, and most unsettling of all, the doll's facial expression will change on its own. As Eugene grew up, he moved out of the home. He got married and eventually returned to his childhood home once his parents passed. His wife didn't like Robert the doll and requested to have it put away. So Eugene placed the doll in the attic. No longer after, they could hear footsteps as if someone was pacing back and forth, and the creepy sound of someone giggling. Sometimes, however, Robert will escape from the attic and Eugene will find him sitting next to a window. Robert the doll will creepily watch passersby on the street, leaving them with the sensation that his eyes were tracking their every single movement as they walked. The origins of these stories are a little questionable. Some believe that in the early 1900s, Eugene's grandfather was traveling through Germany and wanted to get a present for his grandson. So he bought him a doll and took it all the way to Florida and gave it to him as a birthday present. Others believe, however, that a resentful servant cursed the doll with black magic and Jamaican voodoo and gave it to Eugene as revenge. Eventually, Eugene died in 1974, and a woman named Myrtle Roeder bought the home. With it, Robert the doll. Poor Myrtle said she could see the doll moving around the house. Family and friends claimed that she completely changed and was spending all of her time with Robert. It was also said the Myrtle was locked in her room by the malevolent doll, leaving her unable to escape. When she was finally set free, she took the doll to a museum, telling them that it was haunted. So, in 1994, the Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida became Robert's new home. At first, the workers at the museum thought Merrill's claims were nonsense. However, it didn't take long before inexplicable things started happening. Employees believed the doll was alive. They too could see him moving around. Eventually, he was placed inside a glass case. However, that did not stop him from terrorizing people. They claimed seeing him change his facial expression, hearing demonic laughter, and even seeing him put his hand up against the glass. Some believe that there is a portal inside the doll and the multiple entities have possessed it. Visitors have not been spared of his malevolent doing either. Some believe you must ask for permission before taking a picture or filming Robert the doll, otherwise bad omens will come to you. Others do not recommend asking permission because you will be giving away your power to the malevolent spirit. Instead, they recommend to be respectful toward the doll. Visitors claim to have experienced abnormalities, such as cameras malfunctioning and batteries dying, and many claim the pictures they've taken of him just disappear. Those who have disrespected Robert the doll in any way claim to have experienced misfortunes and bad luck, like getting a speeding ticket after visiting him, having car problems, getting a divorce, or flights being delayed and even losing their luggage. Thousands of people have sent letters to the museum asking for forgiveness from Robert the doll to try to end their misfortunes. Some believe the movies like Chucky were inspired by this doll. However, there's a movie based on this story, and it was released in 2015, and it was simply named Robert. Today, you can visit the Robert the doll during the museum's daytime hours, and for those seeking an spookier experience, an intimate lockdown or ghost hunt is also offered during the nighttime. What do I think about this legend? I think that if I have ever a doll that did any of these things, I wouldn't get rid of it. I don't know why this family kept it for so long. I would have probably throw it in the trash or burn it. Who knows? It might have come back. Or maybe it did in their case and we just don't know the stories. But why would you hold into something that is just so spooky? Or is the possession of the doll actually preventing you from giving it away? I don't know. Let me know. What would you have done if you were the owner of Robert the doll? Florida is not only home to one of the oldest haunted dolls, but it's also home to a hybrid creature that lurks in the swamps. Deep in the Florida swamp, it is said you might find a creature that is half human, half alligator, known as Alligator Man. These cryptids are said to have the upper body of a human, however below the waist they resemble an alligator, with green or brownish skin, webbed feet, scales, and a tail. They're about 5 feet long and have teeth that resemble those of an alligator. Some claim they are able to communicate and even use tools. It is also said they make grunting sounds. People claim to have had a glimpse of a humanoid figure with scaly skin rising from the murky waters and then just vanishing. A mummified creature with this description is exhibited in the Marsh Free Museum in Long Beach, Washington. The Marsh, who own the museum, like to collect unique things. So, in 1967, they acquired this creature from a local antique dealer for only $750. They never knew where the creature came from, but they put it in a display in a glass case at their museum. The creature is known as Jake the Alligator Man. Jay became famous when in 1993, a tabloid newspaper based in Florida named the World's Weekly News wrote an article titled "Half Alligator, Half Human Found in Florida Swamps." The picture used in the article was of the creature displayed at the Marsh Free Museum. Some believe that Jake the Alligator Man was created by a skilled taxidermist, which is a person that performed the art of preserving an animal for display. But the reality is that no one really knows, and maybe there are many unknown creatures hiding in the vast Florida swamps. What do I think about this legend? I think it is kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of like a centaur, but instead of having like a horse legs, it has an alligator, so it kind of fits into the Florida biome, which I think is pretty cool. It will be very creepy to see. I mean, to start with, it's kind of creepy to see an alligator. Not creepy, but it's kind of like scary to see a big alligator coming out of the water. But see one with an upper body of a human must be so kind of cool to see and creepy at the same time. So I kind of hope this is real, but we'll never know. Besides the elusive and mysterious Gator Man, Florida has an eerie bridge where inexplicable things are said to happen during the light of a full moon. In Wauchula, Florida, you can find a road known locally as the Bloody Bucket Road. And over the Peace River, you can find the infamous Bloody Bucket Bridge. The story goes that many years ago, after the Civil War, a newly freed slave woman came from Georgia and settled in Wauchula with her husband. She began serving as a midwife and helped deliver hundreds of babies. She was worried about all the families she was helping. She feared that they might struggle to provide for the newborns, given the large number of children they already had. So, she created a plan and decided to help the families by smothering the babies as they were being born. She would then tell the families they were stillborn babies. She will take the dead babies and the bucket full of their blood and afterbirth fluids to the rivers, where she will dump the fluids into the water and bury the babies beneath the bridge. Eventually, they started noticing that many children delivered by these midwives were dying. The town people soon became so suspicious of her that they refused to allow her to deliver any more babies. Some believe that she killed the innocent babies because she could not have any children of her own, while others think she did it because her children had been taken from her while she was a slave. It could be that she just became insane, losing her grip on reality. Legend has it, though, that the babies she killed came back to haunt her. She will see her bucket being filled with the blood of the babies she killed. She will make her way to the bridge, carefully pouring its contents into the river, only to be refilled with blood once more. This ritual will repeat itself over and over, each bucket of blood finding its way into the river's water. It is said one exhausting day, as she emptied the bucket full of blood into the river, she stumbled and fell. She struggled in the water and eventually met a tragic fate and drowned. The legend goes, the river was red for several days, a reminder of what she's done. Since that day, the bridge has been known as the Bloody Bucket Bridge. People believe that during a full moon night, the river's waters take a haunting shade of red, and that they can hear ghostly infant cries echoing throughout the night, along with the unsettling sound of a mysterious struggle and splashing in the river. Some even claim to have seen the wily ghost spirit of the lady who is still being hunted by all the babies she killed. There's also another version of how this bridge earned its name. Sometime during the 1930s and 40s, there was a bar next to the river, known for its bloody fights. It was called the Bloody Bucket, so maybe the bridge earned its name after the bar. What do I think about this legend? I think that anybody who is killing innocent babies deserve to be hunted by these babies. This is a very dark legend, and if she did do this, she deserves it. But do I feel that the bridge is named after the legend or the bar? Logically, for me, it sounds more that it was named after the bar, but it would be cooler if it was named after the legend. And there's some people who claim to go during the full moon night and they actually see the water being red. So who knows if this legend is true or not, but it is definitely a dark one. If this haunted Bloody Bucket Bridge did not spook you enough, maybe the infamous Devil's Share will. In the heart of Central Florida, you can find the Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp. It was founded in the late 1800s by a man named George P. Colby. He was a medium who claimed to have received a message from the spirits guiding him to establish a spiritualist community. Cassadaga remains a thriving spiritualist community to this day, known for its mediums, healers, and seekers of spiritual enlightenment. Some believe a spiritual vortex resides within the grounds. Next to this community, you can find the Lake Helen Cassadaga Cemetery, where our legend begins. Here, among the resting souls, stands a chair made of red brick known as the Devil's Chair. The legend says that if you are brave enough to sit in the chair at midnight, the devil himself might appear in front of you. He may whisper dark things into your ear, making you hear the sounds of restless souls. You might also feel a dark presence surrounding you. There are others that claim that sitting in the chair will trigger an inexplicable force, capable of immobilizing you, leaving you helpless, unable to break free, and freaking you out. Some say the force will hold you down just for a couple of minutes, while others believe it will last until the sun rises, leaving you in a state of complete terror. But curiously enough, this legend is mostly known for the devil's love of beer. As the tale goes, if you were to leave an unopened can of beer by the chair at night, the next morning, it will be found empty, despite never having been opened. Will you offer a beer to the devil? Will it be seen as a sore sacrifice? Could such an act lead to losing one's soul? Who knows? But why risk it? I think it sounds very cool and interesting. It is funny that in this cemetery, this is not the only chair. There's actually other chairs, because apparently at that time when this cemetery was created, because it was like 1800s, early 1900s, people used to place different benches so they will sit while they were visiting their families. So there's more than one. However, this particular one that they consider the Devil's Chair, it is a little peculiar. So most of the gravestones are facing one direction, but these two ones are facing towards the chair, like the engraving with the names. And it's supposed to be a mom and a daughter who die in a fire, and the dad/husband built that with the chair to come and visit them. Do I believe the devil will actually come through? Probably not. Will I risk it and be held down by the invisible force? Probably not. I don't think I will just risk it at all. It's also important to know that nowadays they kind of don't let people visit this cemetery at night because people were vandalizing this cemetery due to this legend, and even in Halloween they kind of hire security and everything to prevent that from happening. So I don't think I would risk it. I wouldn't just sit in there and maybe tempt fate. I would just let it be. Thank you for being my plus one. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. If you have a ghost story or legend you would like to share, or if you are artistic and want to show us how you interpret any of these legends, please send them to us at Ivonneplusone@gmail.com. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.